Tonight's Heart of America, meet a group of Good Samaritans in Daytona Beach, Florida. This scary accident in the middle of a busy intersection on Tuesday afternoon turned into a feel-good story after total strangers came to the aid of the driver and police. At least 9 people jumped out of their vehicles to help. The first passerby ran to make sure the driver was okay before helping the others flip the SUV onto its wheels. Well, thankfully, no one was seriously hurt. So the Good Samaritans of Daytona Beach, tonight's Heart of America. Today is National Medal of Honor Day, when we recognize brave Americans who have earned the highest military award. And for tonight's Heart of America, we want to introduce you to Brandon Say. Say received one of 6 Citizen Honors Awards chosen by the 63 living Medal of Honor recipients for displaying valor and values, courage, sacrifice, and patriotism. The 27-year-old wrestled a gun away from a mass shooter at his family's California dance studio during Lunar New Year celebrations last year. We met Say today at Arlington National Cemetery, where he participated in a wreath-laying ceremony at the tomb of the unknown soldier. Afghanistan veteran and Medal of Honor recipient Master Sergeant Earl Plumley tells us what the Citizen Honors Award means.
You don't have to have a uniform to serve the country, and I like that we come in and recognize normal citizens that were put in abnormal situations and really showed what being a great citizen looks like.
Well said, and we asked Say what his message is to his fellow Americans.
All the heroes you see today, the everyday heroes, they're once like you, ordinary people striving for extraordinary things.
Brandon Say and America's Medal of Honor recipients are tonight's Heart of America. League Baseball's opening day is less than a week away, and there's one woman ready to make history behind the plate and on the field. And she's now ready for the big leagues. During her playing days, she was a standout in high school, and she played Division I softball at Hofstra University. Since then, Powell has spent 18 years honing her skills as an umpire. She is currently on the MLB's call-up list, putting her one step closer to getting behind the plate of a regular season game, something no woman has ever done.
Once I started umpiring, I was like, this is for me. And I can't explain, it's just in my DNA.
Jen Powell, that's tonight's Heart of America.
Finally, tonight's Heart of America. Meet the surviving members of a top secret World War II unit nicknamed the Ghost Army. Well, today they finally got their recognition by being awarded the Congressional Gold Medal. Their missions had more to do with the art of deception than the art of war. You see, they used inflatable tanks, fake radio dispatches, and even loudspeakers to sound like a much larger division. Their job was to fool the Nazis and draw attention away from the real battlefield. 3 of the 7 known surviving members were at the ceremony. Rick Beyer, the president of the Legacy Project, helped today come to fruition.
To project strength when you have none, to purposely draw enemy fire to keep it from falling on others, a dangerous business, not for the faint of heart. Today, the 1,300 men of the Ghost Army are finally getting their due.
World War II's Ghost Army, tonight's Heart of America.
It's the most beautiful time of the year here in the nation's capital, with the bloom of the iconic cherry trees. This year, the cherry blossoms hit their peak bloom at the second earliest date on record. But for about 140 of these cherry trees, it will also be their last. The National Park Service is cutting them down as part of a 3-year project to combat flooding. And that includes Stumpy. That's a little tree turned local celebrity that has continued to bloom despite years of decay. The trees getting the axe will still serve a purpose as mulch.
As that mulch breaks down, it becomes soil, and that soil will provide nutrients for the living trees for generations to come. It is an appropriate and beneficial second life for the trees that are coming down.
The D.C. cherry blossoms and those protecting them, tonight's Heart of America. Finally, tonight's Heart of America, meet Eliana Lopez. When Eliana was born in May of 2023, she was the smallest premature baby ever at Cedars-Sinai Medical Center in Los Angeles, weighing only 12 ounces, and she was the size of a soda can. After spending 10 months in the NICU with a devoted staff of over 200 doctors and nurses taking care of her, she was finally able to go home last week. The staff at Cedars-Sinai Garin Children's gave her a full graduation ceremony, look, complete with a cap and gown. Eliana's parents, Cecilia and Boris, said the staff became like family.
We knew that this day would come. We were very hopeful and we had faith that things would work out. And we trusted this hospital and we knew we were in good hands. And today we get to take our daughter home after 10 months.
Wow. Well, Eliana is now 17 pounds, but she's still got a long road ahead. Eliana Lopez and the incredible staff at Cedars-Sinai Guerin Children's, tonight's Heart of America. Tonight's Heart of America, meet 32-year-old New Yorker Lyanna Scaglione, who is among the 27,000 runners to compete in the New York City Half Marathon this weekend. Her remarkable finishing time of 2 hours and 14 minutes came just 2 months after having brain surgery. When she was just 15, she was diagnosed with neurofibromatosis. That's a genetic disorder that causes usually benign tumors to form in the brain, spinal cord, and nerves. Well, after being in a wheelchair for 2 years, the once aspiring ballerina took up running to challenge herself.
I've realized all the things that I have accomplished with having tumors in my body. I was like, you know what? Anything's possible, and I shouldn't let this diagnosis and a tumor control my life. I just finished this major surgery, and I'm getting my life back.
Well, she now hopes to tackle the full Chicago and New York City marathons this fall. So congratulations. Lyanna Scaglione, tonight's Heart of America.
CBS's Steve Hartman goes on the road to an elementary school in Maine where the biggest trend isn't on the students' phones, it's in their closets.
Most 8-year-old boys don't get dressed to the nines. To them, suits are for bathing, and formal is a 4-letter word. But James Ramage of Chelsea, Maine loves to dress for 3rd grade success. He started a couple years ago, and at first, the other kids didn't know what to think.
Every time I saw him, I was just like, okay. And I'm like, why is he dressing up?
James knew he stood out.
Did you just decide one day, I don't care what other people are wearing?
I don't need to look like them anymore. I can be who I want to be.
In any school, a decision like that can go a few different ways. You can be accepted for who you are, ostracized for who you aren't, or, in very rare circumstances, you can become a trendsetter.
It just kind of started. Then more people started to do it. Because it looked fun, and now people absolutely love it.
Today, once a week, Chelsea Elementary kids put on their finest for Dapper Wednesday. It's not a dress code. It's not because some adult said so. It's because the children chose so.
Nice dresses.
Teacher Dean Paquette was an early adopter and now an avid advocate.
Stop! Look at this! You look awesome!
Being dressed up, kids are different.
It is.
I think it's a self-esteem thing. And then it carries with them all the way through the day.
All right.
The kids agree. Told me they love how it feels.
I'm a little itchy, but it's fine.
Figuratively speaking.
It feels like I'm not a kid anymore. It made me feel like I was ready for the day. It feels like I'm like a president.
When James started all this, he had no idea the impact.
What's it like to be a trendsetter?
It just feels so nice.
But he doesn't think every kid should wear suits. Just whatever suits them.
Just wear what they want to wear.
Self-confidence. Always a good look. Steve Hartman, on the road in Chelsea, Maine.
Finally, tonight's Heart of America, meet the newest members of New York's bravest. Nearly 300 FDNY firefighters graduated this week, joining the nation's largest fire department. The probationary firefighters, known as probies, were filled with pride, and they're committed to keeping New Yorkers safe. Among the graduates is Jerome Ned Jr. of Brooklyn, whose father was a chef in the North Tower of the World Trade Center.
My father died on 9/11, so it was a decision for me because firefighters went into that building to try and get him out, and those brave heroes that died in that building, I wanted to be like one of them, and I wanted to help people as well.
Oh my goodness. Well, this new class also includes 10 women and 34 veterans. Officials said half of the graduates are people of color as the department continues to look more like the city it protects. So congratulations and thank you to the newest members of the FDNY Tonight's Heart of America. Finally, tonight's Heart of America with the kindness of a stranger that became a life-saving moment. CBS's Janet Shamlian reports.
Oh, good job. Bear Soborowski was born with a rare genetic condition and was in kidney failure before his first birthday.
I love you.
With no family fit to donate theirs, Bear was on a wait list, but time was running out. Seeing a plea online, Jane Callahan made a life-changing call, offering one of her kidneys to a child she did not know.
I just knew if I was going to be tested that I would be a match.
You had that feeling?
Yes.
A 5-hour transplant surgery in December at Texas Children's Hospital. Then this.
Your baby did really well. Everything's great.
The woman who made it possible, a single mom with 2 children of her own, told Bear's mom she'd love to meet.
It was one of the most profound moments of my life.
Now, too, Bear is recovering.
There's your new kidney.
Callahan says she feels great.
Hi there.
And 2 families are one.
So great to see you.
What does this say to you about humanity?
You get flooded with negative things all the time in the world, and very often there are beautiful things that are out there, and you just have to choose to look at them.
Tonight, that beauty is Bear. Janet Shamlian, CBS News, Houston.
Bear and Jane, tonight's Heart of America. Finally, tonight's Heart of America meets 68-year-old Bill Kitfield, a now retired mail carrier who delivered kindness in his small Connecticut neighborhood for nearly 4 decades. Bill worked several small part-time jobs out of college before finding a career that he could put his stamp on. During his time at the U.S. Postal Service, he befriended every person and furry friend along his route, cracking the code to the mailman-dog relationship.
Anytime I met a dog, I tried to make friends, and dogs have pretty good memories.
Well, after 38 years, Bill was ready to hang up his mailbag, but not before his beloved residents threw him a retirement party as a thank you for his service and dedication to them and their 4-legged friends. And what's Bill's plan for retirement? He said, quote, "I'm going to play some bad golf and bowl." Well, congratulations, Bill Kitfield, tonight's Heart of America. Finally, tonight's Heart of America with a team that has captured America's heart time and time again. The U.S. women's national soccer team returned to their winning ways after beating powerhouse Brazil last night 1-0 in the finals of the inaugural Women's Gold Cup in San Diego. U.S. captain Lindsey Horan knocked in the game's lone goal. Look at this, with this incredible header just before the half in front of a sellout crowd. Horan said it's been a hard-fought journey.
We've dealt with a lot of different kind of adversity and ups and downs, and so I'm really proud of the way we came out of it and getting a win at the end.
We're proud, too. After an early exit from the 2023 World Cup and a bronze medal at the 2020 Olympics, the U.S. women have their sights set on gold at the Paris Games this summer. Congratulations and good luck to the U.S. women's national soccer team. That's tonight's Heart of America. Finally, tonight's Heart of America, it's International Women's Day and the eve of the 65th birthday of one very iconic woman.
Barbie, you're beautiful. You make me feel.
Since 1959, Barbie has inspired young girls from the playroom to the big screen. Mattel is celebrating by teaming up with some other iconic women to create 8 new role model dolls from 8 different countries. Among those getting the Barbie treatment are Viola Davis, Shania Twain, and Dame Helen Mirren. It's a fitting celebration for a small doll that has helped women of all ages dream big, celebrate individuality, and use the power of imagination. So happy International Women's Day and happy birthday, Barbie. That's tonight's Heart of America. Finally, tonight's Heart of America, meet 29-year-old Cole Brower from Long Island, New York. She just became the first American woman to sail solo nonstop around the world. Early this morning, Brower arrived in Spain, completing one of the most extreme and difficult sporting events on Earth, the Global Solo Challenge. Less than 200 people have ever managed to finish it, but that didn't deter Brower. Despite suffering bruised ribs when a massive wave slammed her boat and severe dehydration that required an IV, she continued on. After 30,000 miles and more than 4 months alone on the high seas, Brower is back on dry land where she was greeted by family, friends, hugs, and yes, some champagne. Congratulations to Cole Brower, tonight's Heart of America. Finally, tonight's Heart of America, meet Bernice Alfaro of Little Rock, Arkansas. On Sunday, Bernice completed her first marathon in 6 hours and 7 minutes, and while she wanted to finish, her biggest goal was making her mother proud. In 2017, Bernice's mother, Eva, was diagnosed with stage 3 breast cancer. And while that news would stop many in their tracks, Bernice decided to keep moving forward by focusing on a healthier lifestyle. It started with local breast cancer walks, but she soon realized she could go even further and faster. And in doing so, she discovered a new passion for running. It was that passion, along with support from her mother, now a breast cancer survivor, that helped her finish the line.
I just love the fact that she's still here. It's very encouraging for her to say, you can do this. You can do this.
Look at that, Bernice Alfaro. She is tonight's Heart of America. Finally, tonight's Heart of America. Meet America's newest class of astronauts. After 2 years of grueling NASA training, the group is now eligible for spaceflight. The graduates of 6 men and 4 women come from all corners of the country, from Alaska to Puerto Rico. Class leader Chris Birch has a PhD from MIT and is also a decorated cyclist for the U.S. national team. Lieutenant Commander Jessica Whitner credits her team's unique backgrounds for helping unite their mission.
Whoever is on the next crews that are going up know that the diversity that they bring to the table is really one of the strongest, it's one of the strengths of the crew.
Well, these new astronauts could one day be part of the team that brings the first woman and first person of color to the surface of the moon and beyond. Talk about having the right stuff. NASA's newest space explorers, they are tonight's Heart of America. Finally, tonight's Heart of America, longtime Philadelphia Eagles center Jason Kelce announced his retirement today after 13 seasons. The NFL tough guy didn't hide his emotions when he delivered his heartfelt goodbye.
Thank you, Philadelphia. From the bottom of my heart, thank you for letting me represent this city and allowing me into your homes every Sunday. It has truly been a privilege.
The 36-year-old Kelce spent his entire career with Philadelphia, played in 2 Super Bowls, and won the Lombardi Trophy in 2018. After the Eagles were knocked out of this year's playoffs, he spent the rest of the season cheering on his younger brother Travis, who plays for the Kansas City Chiefs, who repeated as Super Bowl champs. Today, he paid tribute to his teammates, coaches, the fans, and his family, who were all there today, including Travis, crying a bit. Brotherly love at its best. Jason Kelce, tonight's Heart of America. Finally, tonight's Heart of America, meet Jackie and Shadow, 2 of California's majestic bald eagles and expectant parents to 3 baby chicks. The devoted mom and dad have been taking turns keeping their eggs warm for roughly 35 days during this harsh winter of snow and even tropical storm force winds. Mom spent 62 hours straight sitting on the eggs, and the world is watching. Tens of thousands are tuning into a nest cam set up by the nonprofit Friends of Big Bear Valley. Sandy Steers is executive director of the organization and gives all the credit to the 2 lovebirds.
Because Jackie and Shadow are very entertaining and how they're also very affectionate with each other, and I just love that they're the models for how to do it right.
Well, their eggs are expected to begin hatching this weekend. Jackie and Shadow, tonight's Heart of America. Absolutely beautiful.